Welcome to this comprehensive guide on capacitor banks and power factor correction for low-voltage electrical systems. In this presentation, we'll explore how capacitor banks improve electrical efficiency, reduce utility penalties, and enhance the overall performance of industrial and commercial power systems. We'll cover the complete engineering process, from understanding power factor fundamentals to sizing capacitor banks, selecting protection devices, preventing harmonic resonance, complying with NEC requirements, and applying real-world troubleshooting techniques. Whether you're an electrical engineer, consultant, facility manager, or engineering student, this presentation provides practical knowledge that can be directly applied to modern electrical installations. Power factor correction delivers 4 major benefits. The first benefit is lower utility charges. Many utilities impose penalties when the power factor drops below a specified value. Improving the power factor reduces reactive demand and lowers monthly electricity costs. Second, it increases released system capacity. By reducing reactive current, transformers, cables, and switchgear can support more useful load without requiring expensive upgrades. Third, power factor correction reduces I²R losses. Lower current means lower conductor heating, improved voltage regulation, and increased equipment life. Finally, it improves overall power profile by reducing voltage fluctuations and supporting better system stability. It's important to remember that capacitor banks correct reactive power. They do not reduce real power consumption. They make the electrical system more efficient by reducing unnecessary current flow. When selecting a capacitor bank, engineers must first diagnose the type of electrical load. Constant loads often benefit from fixed capacitor banks. Variable industrial loads usually require automatically switched capacitor banks that respond to changing demand. Facilities containing large variable frequency drives, UPS systems, or rectifiers generate harmonic currents. In these environments, detuned capacitor banks equipped with reactors are typically the safest solution. Electrical engineers must always identify whether harmonics exist before installing capacitors, because the rung design can amplify harmonic problems rather than solve them. The foundation of every capacitor bank project is calculating the required reactive power. The standard equation uses the active power in kilowatts together with the existing and target power factor. First, determine the facility's current power factor. Next, select a realistic target, typically between 0.95 and 0.99. Using these values, calculate the required capacitor rating in kilovolt amperes reactive, or kVAR. Oversizing the capacitor bank should be avoided because it can produce a leading power factor, create overvoltage conditions, and potentially cause resonance problems. Once the required kVAR has been determined, the next step is selecting the electrical components. Engineers calculate capacitor current using the system voltage and capacitor rating. From this current value, conductors are selected according to NEC ampacity requirements. Capacitor contactors are then chosen based on capacitor switching duty rather than standard motor duty ratings. Protection devices must also be coordinated to safely interrupt fault currents while allowing normal capacitor energization. Each component must work together as a coordinated system rather than being selected independently. Article 460 of the National Electrical Code establishes the protection requirements for capacitor installations. Capacitor banks require properly rated disconnecting means, branch circuit protection, and conductor sizing. Overcurrent devices are typically sized larger than the capacitor's continuous current because capacitor banks experience high inrush currents during energization. Engineers must also verify equipment interrupting ratings, grounding methods, and enclosure requirements. Following NEC requirements ensures both safety and long-term reliability. This slide summarizes several key NEC requirements every designer should know. Disconnecting means must isolate all capacitor conductors. Capacitors require automatic discharge resistors to reduce stored energy after disconnection. Grounding and bonding must comply with applicable NEC sections. Conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, and enclosure ratings must all meet code requirements. Although these rules may appear straightforward, overlooking even one requirement can create significant safety hazards during maintenance. One of the biggest risks in capacitor bank installations is harmonic resonance. Capacitors naturally lower system impedance at higher frequencies. When this impedance combines with the system inductance, resonance can occur. If the resonant frequency coincides with harmonics generated by variable frequency drives, UPS systems, or rectifiers, extremely high currents and voltages may develop. These conditions can overheat capacitors, damage transformers, trip protective devices, and shorten equipment life. This is why harmonic analysis should always be performed before installing large capacitor banks. The most common solution to harmonic resonance is adding detuned reactors. A reactor introduces inductance in series with the capacitor bank. This shifts the resonant frequency below dominant harmonic frequencies, preventing harmful resonance. Common tuning frequencies include 189 Hz for 50 Hz systems and 228 Hz for 60 Hz systems. Although reactors increase system cost slightly, they dramatically improve capacitor reliability and protect the entire electrical distribution system. Many capacitor bank failures result from common design mistakes. Oversizing the capacitor bank can create leading power factor conditions. Ignoring harmonic distortion often leads to capacitor overheating and premature failures. Poor ventilation reduces capacitor lifespan. Improper protection settings may cause nuisance tripping. Experienced engineers verify harmonic levels, select proper detuned reactors, size conductors correctly, and ensure adequate cooling. Preventive engineering always costs less than corrective maintenance. Proper installation is just as important as proper design. Before energizing the capacitor bank, verify all mechanical and electrical connections. Measure insulation resistance and confirm proper grounding. Check capacitor polarity where applicable and verify contactor operation. After energization, monitor voltage, current, power factor, and temperature. Thermal imaging during initial commissioning is highly recommended because loose connections often become visible through abnormal heating. Documenting baseline operating values also simplifies future maintenance. This slide presents several real-world case studies. In industrial facilities, engineers frequently encounter failed capacitor cells caused by harmonic overload. Wastewater treatment plants often experience poor power factor because of constantly varying motor loads. Commercial buildings commonly suffer from switching problems caused by incorrectly programmed automatic capacitor controllers. Each case demonstrates the importance of proper system analysis rather than simply replacing failed components. Several common questions arise during capacitor bank design. Can capacitor banks reduce electricity consumption? Not directly. They reduce reactive power and improve system efficiency, but do not reduce real power usage. Can every facility install capacitor banks? Only after evaluating harmonic conditions and load characteristics. How often should capacitor banks be maintained? Regular inspections should include thermal imaging, capacitor testing, contactor inspection, and controller verification. Routine maintenance significantly increases equipment reliability. This slide summarizes the complete engineering workflow. First, measure the electrical system and determine the existing power factor. Second, calculate the required capacitor size. Third, identify harmonic sources and determine whether detuned reactors are necessary. Fourth, select protection devices according to NEC requirements. Finally, install, commission, and monitor the system to verify long-term performance. In conclusion, successful power factor correction requires more than simply installing capacitors. It involves accurate electrical measurements, proper sizing calculations, harmonic evaluation, code-compliant protection, careful installation, and ongoing maintenance. When these engineering principles are followed, capacitor banks reduce operating costs, improve equipment utilization, enhance voltage stability, and increase the reliability of the entire electrical distribution system. Thank you for watching. If you found this presentation valuable, consider subscribing for more practical electrical engineering tutorials covering power systems, substations, protection, renewable energy integration, and industrial electrical design.